Marvel spent 20 years telling you the Sentry has the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. That line has never once been true, and the fight that proves it is the one nobody scales honestly. Sentry versus Superman. Post-crisis Superman. Main continuity, which means all-star Superman is off the table, and so is every quintillion-ton number you have ever seen quoted from it. Sentry at his most stable, the version who knows exactly what he is. No prep time, no kryptonite, empty ground, so neither one has to hold back to save a city. Both fandoms argue this by picking their own character's ceiling and their opponent's floor. So let's not do that. Let's use what is actually on the page. Robert Reynolds was an addict who broke into a laboratory and drank something he did not understand, the Golden Sentry Serum. What came out the other side was, in that famous phrase from the Sentry #1 in 2000, a man with the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. Here is what he has actually done with it. In New Avengers #2, he takes Carnage out of a prison break, carries him straight up through the building and out of the atmosphere, and tears him in half in orbit. He shatters Terex's cosmic axe with his bare hands. In Dark Avengers #12, he does something genuinely absurd. He takes Molecule Man apart at the molecular level, a being who manipulates matter itself, and the energy involved is measured in continents. During Siege, he rips the god of war in half. Not a metaphor. Ares torn apart on panel. That is a top-tier Marvel powerhouse by any measure, but every one of those feats has a shadow, and Marvel has never once hidden it. The Sentry's power is not a constant. It is a readout of Robert Reynolds' mental state. Post-crisis Superman is, deliberately, the smallest version of Superman DC has ever published. The Silver Age Superman moved solar systems and juggled planets. After Crisis, they took that away on purpose, because a character who can do anything has no story left. What remains is still staggering. He has pushed, pulled, and dragged the Earth itself, the entire planet, moved by applied force. He has flown at a fraction under light speed, and converted that velocity into a single impact, the infinite mass punch. He has held a miniature black hole clenched in one fist without losing the hand, which is less a strength feat than a control feat, and control is the more frightening number. His weaknesses are honest and specific. Kryptonite, magic which goes through his durability like it isn't there. Solar depletion over a long enough fight. And one more that nobody counts as a weakness, but absolutely is. He holds back. Constantly. Every fight Superman has on Earth, he is fighting at a fraction of capacity because there are people nearby. Today there are not. Strength, close enough that it does not decide anything. Both operate at planetary scale. Speed, Superman clearly. Sentry flies fast. Superman fights at relativistic velocity, and there is a difference between crossing a distance quickly and landing punches at that speed. Durability, Sentry on paper. He has taken punishment that would have ended most of Marvel's roster and stood back up. Energy projection, Sentry, and it isn't close. Nothing in Superman's post-crisis file matches Unmaking Molecule Man. Weakness, and here the sheet stops being useful. Superman's weaknesses are external, a rock, a spell, a dying sun. Sentry's weakness is internal, permanent, and standing inside his own head. Sentry's ceiling is arguably higher than Superman's. His floor does not exist. The comics are explicit about this. When Robert Reynolds is stable, the Sentry is overwhelming and the Void is weak. When Robert is not, the Sentry is a frightened man who cannot make himself act, and the Void gets stronger. He is agoraphobic. He is afraid of his own power. He has stood frozen in the middle of battles while people died in front of him. So the question is not who hits harder. The question is what happens to a man whose power depends on believing he can win. When you put him in front of an opponent who does not break, does not panic, and does not stop. The opening exchange goes to Sentry, and it goes badly for Superman. Golden energy at continent scale, delivered without warning. Superman goes through the atmosphere and comes down somewhere on the other side of the ocean. Sentry does not pursue. He never does. He waits to see whether it worked. It did not work. Superman comes back up. That is the turn, and it happens without a punch being thrown. Because Sentry has met almost nothing in his career that simply stands up again. He hits harder. Superman keeps closing the distance. He hits harder still, and there is a crack in the delivery, a hesitation, half a second of a man checking whether he is about to lose control. Superman is not stronger than the Sentry. He is faster, he is more experienced, and he has spent 20 years fighting things that outclass him. He knows exactly what that hesitation means. Now it is a war of attrition, which is the one kind of fight Robert Reynolds cannot survive. Every exchange he does not end confirms the thing he has always believed about himself. The golden light gets thinner. His output drops in real time measurably, because that is how his power has always worked. The kill is not dramatic. Superman closes, absorbs the last honest blast Sentry has in him, and puts him down. Bob Reynolds, unconscious, human-sized on the ground. And then the shadow behind him stands up. Superman wins. Not on power, on peak showings. Sentry may well hit harder than anything post-crisis Superman can produce. He wins because Sentry's power is a variable, and Superman's is a constant. And a long fight resolves in favor of the constant every single time. Here is the caveat, and I am not going to hedge it. This result depends entirely on the rule set at the top. Bring in all-star Superman, and the numbers change. Bring in a Sentry written by someone who wants him to win, and the numbers change again. That is not me dodging. That is the actual state of both characters, and anyone who tells you this matchup has one clean answer is selling you something. And one more thing, if the void counts as magic, Superman's durability does not apply to it at all, because Superman didn't beat the void. He beat the man holding it back. Next episode, Superman versus the void, and that one does not go the same way. Subscribe if you want to see it.